Hello there, this is Westbound for Westbound Music. Did we need another video about the fender bender, the situation in the industry? Probably not, but after 40 years of having been a professional, well, not all the time professional, but a professional and semi-professional guitarist, and actually haven't started out on this type of guitar with this kind of body shape. This is not a Strat, Fender Strat, it's a Squire, but it's from the same company, Fender Music Instrument Corporation. I feel qualified to have my 2 cents on the matter and actually try to break down a little bit for all of us what this is actually about. Let's get others' opinion first, from no other than Tim Pierce.
I have friends who work at Fender, and I'm concerned for them. I have friends who work at guitar companies that aren't Fender, and I'm concerned for them. Fender, if you made better guitars, you wouldn't have to do things like this. So, you won a case in Dusseldorf where your opponent didn't show up because they were counterfeiting guitars. Cool, I'm glad you won. But to turn that into this letter that all my friends are getting that is draconian and unfair and turns you into this biggest bully in the world, where did that lead to this?
I think Tim Pierce pretty much hits on the very sore spot that the entire industry expressed after word got out that Fender had issued cease and desist letters as of March. Following a ruling in a regional court in Düsseldorf, Germany, where they made a case against a Chinese retailer who sold Stratocaster guitars into the European and German markets, and they forbade them, or they made a claim that they cannot do so because they said that this body shape is infringing on their copyrights. They made a case that the original design by Leo Fender in 1954 was a work of art, and it was protected under intellectual property rights in all of Europe, and they are right. They won the case. That is the case. If you own a work of art, if it's your intellectual property, then it's protected by default. But interestingly, they tried to make the same case in the United States in 2009 and lost the case. The court ruled that they hadn't bothered in 50 years to protect the body shape. They did so for the headstock. The headstock is trademarked, but they didn't do that for the body shape. And after 50 years, the court ruled it's become public domain, so they're late to the party. Sorry, you failed, and that's the case in the United States. Now, I mean, this is almost like pernicious to try and exploit a different jurisdiction outside of the U.S. to try and make the case again for the body shape, and actually they won there, so you have to give them that. But then they sent letters to major builders, major competitors, retailers, among them Thomann, which is probably by now the largest online music store. Of course, Sur, probably Ibanez, PRS in the United States got a letter, and in the letter they claim that they are no longer permitted to use that shape, this body shape, for any of their guitars. And if they are supposed to destroy all stock, and if they fail to do so, they risk a fine of $2,150 upwards per case, by the way. And the most outrageous thing is that they demanded all the retailers to hand them over the customer data of everyone who had ever purchased such a guitar so they can go after them. That's outrageous, folks. I mean, it's just not good style. But how did we get here? So let's hear. That's also the question that Tim Pierce asked, and I think Rick Beato has something to say about that.
This is the Fender lawsuit, because a lot of people have made great videos on it. I didn't feel a need to weigh in on the particulars. Now, many of you might be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Fender Guitars is suing a number of European and US companies for making a Strat style guitar. This is a Fender Strat style guitar. It says Fender Strat. And they're suing because of the body shape. Now, Fender is claiming that this is, let me see here, what do they call it? A copyrighted work of applied art rather than just a trademark. This is a ruling that came from a court in Germany, in Dusseldorf in particular, in March. And what they're doing here is they're selling these guitars illegal, carrying potential fines of up to 250,000 pounds. They want people to destroy existing stock. And a lot of people are really mad about this, including myself. Now, when I say Strat guitar, this looks like a Strat guitar, but it's not. Not exactly. This looks like a Strat guitar. You guys see me play this in videos, but this is not a Strat guitar either. It's actually a Charvel guitar. Now, you may recognize Charvel guitars because a lot of people play Charvel guitars, like, I don't know, Alan Holdsworth. Alan Holdsworth passed away years ago. He used to play a Charvel. Guthrie Govan played a Charvel. Then you have people like Eddie Van Halen that played Frankenstrat that was put together from parts. A Strat style guitar. Is Fender going to go sue Eddie Van Halen? Are they going to sue Alan Holdsworth for playing guitars 40 years ago? Seems like maybe they should have done it back then. Now this Strat.
Yeah, and he goes on to say that the quality of the neck in his guitar was so poor he had to remove it. Original Fender neck, had to remove it, get a spare part from the aftermarket and fit it onto this body, and that's the only way he made it playable. And I'm seeing a lot of complaints about people buying Fender Strats in the US and complaining about the quality control and quality issues right out of the gate. Other competitors have learned from those mistakes and make better guitars. Simple as that. Often at a fraction of the price of an original American Standard Stratocaster or Ultra or Vintera, what have you. And the quality is just so much better. Oftentimes they have better specifications like roasted necks, that don't move anymore because they are dry as bone. What else? Locking tuners, switchable. Like humbuckers in the bridge positions, splittable, and things like that. Just way better specifications, way better quality control at a reduced price. So that's the problem that Fender is facing all across the world, and now they're trying to make a case for those competitors to just stop selling and not be a competition anymore. For Tim Pierce to call it unfair is even an understatement. I would say that's just bad style. It's just like sour grapes, and it's no way of cornering the market. And then actually there's another aspect that we haven't even addressed that I saw it in a Fender group. Someone said he had purchased a brand new Fender, and then he got aware of the situation at hand, and he sent it back. He said, for the time being, I'm not gonna I support Fender for protecting the copyrights, but I'm not going to support the company for this poor decision. So he sent it back, and he said, for the time being, I'm only going to buy used guitars. And he goes on to say that he works in luxury goods, and if other corporations see how it plays out, if Fender get their way with this, then other corporations might just copy what they did and just bully competition out of the market. That can't be good for anyone. That can't be in anyone's interest, can it? And so this is way beyond just, are they entitled to protect their copyright? Yes, of course they are, but they failed to do so in the US. In the US game, it's game over. In other markets, not so much. The claim that they're making isn't even about copyright, it's about intellectual property that they deem to have inherited from Leo Fender because it's his company. Well, that is also something that would be debatable, I guess, between lawyers. And so this is going to be interesting how it's going to play out. This is not about hating on the guitars. We love the products. Like I said, I started out, that probably was one of my first electric guitars. I still love to play. Although it's just the little sister Squire. I love this instrument. It's better than the entry-level instruments that I used to have back in those days when I started out, in another life. And this goes for many. Young players, they get much better quality from other corporations, from other companies now. And I'm happy for them because they don't need to save for years on end before they get their first electric guitar. They can start right out and just have fun with it, and that's how it should be, I think. So I'm interested, what do you think about this? Hope I didn't babble too much. I felt like I had to add my 2 cents to this. Hope I added something that got buried in the noise so far. And thanks for coming to my channel. Hope you liked it. Come back, subscribe, ding the bell, and see you all soon. This is Westbound for Westbound Music.